Hello and welcome to this weekend's episode of A Closer Look. I'm Jessica Larkin, and as you can tell, we're going to be talking quite a bit about some books today. Mainly we're talking about the Sullivan County Imagination Library and of course the Imagination Library as a whole. So we have Chris Manley with Sullivan County Imagination Library joining us, and then also Sam Roberts with the Dollywood Foundation, which if you can't tell, the Imagination Library is part of the Dollywood Foundation, but we'll dive into all of that. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So I want to talk about each of you individually, dealing with the same topic but from a different perspective. Talk about your backgrounds. Chris, let's start with you on the local side.
Well, first, primarily, I'm a father. I have a daughter who is 9, Madeline, and our first experience with the Imagination Library was when she was born, and the good folks at the hospital helped us sign up and get her enrolled in the program, and we've been enjoying the books ever since. They have been just a blessing and a joy.
And you're talking about the program that the Imagination Library has that provides a book for children in the area. I guess, is it one a month? Is that correct? From birth until...
That is right.
Was it
5?
5 years old, yeah. So that's a lot of books over those years. And now, Sam, talk about with the Dollywood Foundation, what you see, how you got involved in that sort of stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I have a little bit of a local side also because I'm originally from Bristol. I've lived in Kingsport and Johnson City, so it's a honor to be here to talk about the Imagination Library in this way. And I've been around the program for about 8 years. In the position that I'm currently in, the Director of Operations, has been about 2 years. So I oversee the day-to-day operations of getting the books printed to our fulfillment centers and mailed out in the 4 countries in which we operate.
That's amazing. And like you mentioned, 4 areas. Talk about how the Imagination Library first began. Of course, we have Miss Dolly back here. Dolly herself couldn't join us, but she sent someone in her place, so to speak. So talk about how, really why she started the organization and how it's grown to today.
Sure. Dolly started the Imagination Library in her home county, Sevier County, Tennessee. It was a way to benefit the children of the county and better their lives. The inspiration behind it was because of her own father couldn't read or write. He didn't live long enough to see the Imagination Library grow into the program, and today Dolly, just in an article this year, said that the Imagination Library is one of her most proudest accomplishments. In thinking about all the things that she's done in her lifetime, that's pretty special.
That is saying a lot, absolutely. And we're so fortunate to be obviously right next door to Sevierville and Sevier County and be benefiting immediately and directly from the organization. So talk about the reach of it, specifically into Sullivan County.
Sure. Well, in Sullivan County, we started back in 2003 with the vision of the founding members of the board, which I'm a member. And those board members created this chapter in 2004 and have been delivering books ever since then. Since then, we've delivered in this county books to over 20,000 children. That's
so great. And that, talk about just from both of your perspectives, from being a parent, being involved, and what it means to be able to provide, the amount of books that it does from birth to 5 years old and really ingrained in their minds that young, the importance of reading, the importance of literature.
Well, as I have a 9-year-old and I've had the opportunity to go into her classrooms and read books with them, it is amazing what happens when you sit in front of a group of kids and you bring out a book from the Imagination Library and you hear the little hands raised and say, I have that book, that's a great book, it's a wonderful book. And you get to read it with them and they're reading it along with you. You can hear the words in their minds and in their expressions. They already know the book. When they come into the classroom after 5 years of reading with their parents, they're ready to learn. They're ready to hear. They know how to listen to teachers. They know how to respect the books. Most of all, they know how to enjoy it and to take it as love. They really love the learning of it.
They have the hunger for those stories and to continue hearing new stories. And that's where school comes in, of course, the new book's there.
Yeah, and there's also research to back up this as well. The most recent piece that was published actually earlier this month also was from Lemoyne College in Syracuse, New York. So they looked at the children who had been enrolled in the Imagination Library for at least 3 years, compared those to children who had not been enrolled in the program. They found that of the kids in the program, 61% of them were ready for kindergarten, compared to 47% that were not ready for kindergarten who had not been in the program. So that's just one of the studies that's been done. There's various on our website showing the benefits of it. And then in addition to kindergarten readiness, we also have all the other things that come along with it, like the parent-child bonding, the language and literacy skills, the social, emotional connections that are formed during this time that actually follow the kid through their lives.
Right, absolutely. Having that time with, as a child, having that time with your parent, just that intimate relationship of bringing to each other cannot be recreated, and that's something that is so important to, the child's mind and their emotions as they evolve, like you just mentioned.
Yes.
And so when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about exactly how the program works and what the Imagination Library really does, other than these books we've been talking about from 0 to 5. So stay with us, guys. Don't get anywhere. We'll be right back on A Closer Look.